Hi guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. We are really close to ending this series unfortunately, but tonight I thought that I would review one of my favorite horror movies, The Conjuring 2. I seriously can't believe that there are only 3 days left till Halloween. This year has felt really slow but really fast at the same time. Like, it's just crazy how fast Halloween is approaching us. Yeah, it's just been a lot of fun reviewing all of these movies, and tonight when I was thinking, what movie should I review that I haven't reviewed? And that's The Conjuring 2. You guys saw my Conjuring 1 review, and if you haven't, you can go watch that on my channel. You guys heard how much I love this movie. And if you've seen earlier videos on my channel, I always talk about how the Conjuring franchise is one of my favorites, and that's why I'm really excited for The Conjuring 3. I'm hoping it's good, even though the director unfortunately isn't James Wan. And I'm just so excited to be talking about this movie. I do want to say before I get started though that this review will contain spoilers. I'm going to be talking about specific scenes and plot points just because I love this movie so much that I can't just not do a spoiler review, and it's been out for a while, so I feel like it's good to just do a spoiler review. If you guys have not seen the movie, then I really recommend watching it and then coming back to my channel and watching the review after you've seen it. But to those that don't care about spoilers or have seen it, welcome in. In 1977, paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren come out of a self-imposed sabbatical to travel to Enfield in North London. There they meet Peggy Hodgkin, an overwhelmed single mother of four who tells the couple that something evil is in their home. Ed and Lorraine believe her story when their youngest daughter starts to show signs of demonic possession. As the Warrens try to help the girl, they become the next targets of this malicious spirit. I absolutely love this movie, and this one is completely different than the first one because it's a completely different family, and that's what I love so much about this universe too, because each movie is kind of like an anthology because it's not really following the same plot line. It's just these two people, Ed and Lorraine Warren, going to these haunted houses. And I just love this case, like just talking about the case itself. One day in the future maybe I'll do a video talking about some horror cases that I find pretty fascinating and I just love talking about. And I hadn't heard of this case before the movie, but when the film came out I was so obsessed with this case and just looking everything up because I think it's so interesting, the whole idea that what if it was a hoax, and I'll get more into that later on in the review because that's definitely one of my highest points with this movie. But James Wan is back and this movie is creepy and terrifying, and I actually think this one is scarier than the first one. I think the reason why that is because this happened to a little girl. It's kind of the same reason why The Exorcist gives me chills, because it happened to somebody that was so young and not an adult. Not saying it's still not scary when it happens to adults, but she's a little girl and I just felt very bad for her. Also, the evil spirit was just so creepy, and if you guys have seen the movie, kind of a twist that happens is that it's not really the old man sitting in the chair that's doing all of this. It's Valak, the evil nun, ugly human, that's kind of taking over everything, and I just thought she was terrifying, like extremely terrifying. I wish The Nun was a good movie because I feel like the nun as a character is pretty good, but the movie, it was just not good. And yeah, and James Wan still does such a great job with jump scares and just scares in general. I do not like jump scares, but the jump scares here work, and I actually prefer this one over the first one with the whole scare department because I felt the other one had a bunch of jump scares that I just didn't care for. Here, I was okay with all of them. There's also a really cool scene, and it's probably one of my favorite, like, I guess, scares in the movie, and it's so subtle. She's just walking. As she's walking, the camera doesn't even focus on it and doesn't even put loud music, and you just see the old man sitting in this chair, and it's so fast and so quick, and you can even miss it, and I love it so much because it's those type of subtle scares that just work best for me in my opinion, because I hate when all the scares in a movie are just overly amplified and there's a whole like build up to them, which again, those are fine sometimes. There's movies that do them really well, but I just love the subtle scares that James Wan does with his movies, and this one just really works for me in that aspect. Also, the directing, cinematography, everything in the technical aspect of the movie is just beautiful, and you can really tell that they've upped their game. The first one has amazing cinematography as well, but this one is just shot and filmed so well and edited. At the beginning of the movie, they go to the Amityville horror, which is again another case that I'm very obsessed with, so I love this movie because also what it's based on. And basically this whole time at Amityville, she gets inside the mind of the killer, and the editing is so well done here, guys. Like, there's very fast cuts, and when she shoots the people, like when she shoots the woman, the man, the kids, like it just cuts to when they're dead and full of blood, and I think that's fantastic. And there's a really cool cool mirror shot that as Vera Farmiga is like getting the gun, in the reflection it's actually the real killer, the man that did everything. And that was just an excellent way to open up the movie. I enjoyed this opening much more than the first one, and I thought this one was a fantastic way to open it, because we also learn another plot line that this movie has, which is that Ed Warren is in danger because Lorraine sees this, and obviously that's why she doesn't want to continue doing the cases. And I love what they did with their characters in this one specifically. I love them so much, and as a couple in the movie they're amazing, and Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson do a great job at acting together. Both individually are amazing, but also when they're together their chemistry just really shines, and I love that part of the movie because it added another reason for us to love these characters so much, because we got to love them in the first one, and then in this one we really get to love them even more, and you have this added storyline that he might die, and I just think it's just great. I love it so much. And then when it gets to the end of the movie, which the third act of this movie is just so good, and it's so fast paced and so crazy and chaotic, and it just is not afraid to do everything. Like, it just has so much going on and so many scares, because then at the end when the tree does get cut, because when the lightning hits the tree and then it makes that spike that she saw Ed die in, she gets even more scared, and me as an audience member, I was very scared. I didn't know if they were gonna kill him because I obviously know what year he died in, so I was just like, oh my god, are they gonna kill Ed Warren? Like, I genuinely thought he was gonna die. And I mean, if you've seen the movie, he doesn't die, but I just think they did a really good job in building that tension with that plot line. And with the main plot line of the girl, she does an amazing job acting in this movie. Madison Wolfe is so amazing in this movie, and I haven't seen her in anything else, but I definitely want to see her in more because she played this role amazingly. You really got scared for her because of the emotions, and similar to how I said in my Conjuring 1 review, James Wan is really great at having all of these actors just have great chemistry and a great family bond with each other, because I really believe that this was a family, especially the mother. Frances O'Connor did a great job being the mother because she was really believable as a mother figure, and I also thought she was great. I didn't think she was one of those moms in horror movies that just literally ignore everything their kid says. Like, she's really there and she's by their side the whole time, and you feel for her so much, and there's so many heartfelt scenes with her, and it's just awesome what they do with her. Talking about some heartfelt moments, one of my favorite scenes is with Patrick Wilson, who plays Ed Warren, sings an Elvis Presley song, I Can't Help Falling in Love with You, to the kids, and then it overlays with them like setting up the haunted house. I thought that was just so great and such a great way to do it, because you really can tell that this is a family, and this isn't just a regular haunted house movie. Like, this is a genuine family and you care for them, and it really feels like you're watching real people. And obviously this is based on true life, so you're in a way watching real events, but just the way they transcend through the scene is so well done, in my opinion, that I cannot praise this movie enough for that. Like, it's a horror movie and I'm out here literally crying. I think that's something that barely ever happens in horror movies, and that's just awesome that James Wan was able to create that with his movie. Really quickly, just random, like, this is the randomest thing because it just popped into my mind, but something really funny, and this is not a negative of the movie, it's just me thinking it's funny, is there's a scene of Ed Warren and he's like painting the nun because that's what he saw in his brain. And I'm an artist and I paint, and it always bothers me so much when in movies like somebody's painting and they have nothing on their brush, like they're just painting nothing, and like the painting looks completely dry, like they couldn't even fake it. What? Like, I just see him painting and he's doing absolutely nothing. Like, really? Sorry, that was so random, but I just had to point that out because I thought about it last night, and it happens in so many movies. Really quickly though, you know what is a movie that actually paints when they're in painting scenes? Portrait of a Lady on Fire. It's very good. I highly recommend it. But anyway, back to my review. And like I was saying earlier, the whole idea about the hoax is very interesting to me because it does add that level of questioning, and it does make you think, could this person be faking it? And there are scenes that honestly you could see both sides, although the whole time I was honestly on Janet's side and the family side. I don't think they were faking it, because honestly, I don't know, at least in the movie they show some stuff that I'm like, how do you fake that, dude? How do you just fake that? But it's believable with both sides, especially a scene which I think is just fantastic, that entire plot line towards the end when they catch her on camera destroying everything, and she, like, there's no demonic really possession happening, it's really just her throwing things around the room, and it looks like she's faking everything. And then even her siblings kind of question it, and then she says, I had to make them leave or they'd kill you. I was just like, oh my god, this is phenomenal. And then after that, that's when we get Ed to actually try to figure out and play the tapes together, and that's when we figure out everything, that the old man sitting down there is actually just a puppet basically, because it's Valak that's using everything. And I was just like, damn, these people connected it really well, because before that I genuinely thought the nun was just there to like market another movie they're gonna make, which, yeah, I mean, that's probably why, but I think they did a really good job in like putting all of these creatures in together. And even with the crooked man, which I haven't even talked about, he's terrifying. I think he's very scary. First time I saw this movie, I couldn't sleep because of him. Now, he kind of looks like a video game character in my opinion, but I still like him, and I like how he can like morph into things and stuff. Very creepy, but very well done in the movie. And again, it's just like nothing is done for no reason. Everything adds to something, and it's not just to give us scares, which yes, they do give us scares because it's a horror movie, but it all works for a better factor, and I think that was just great. Also, I really loved the relationship this time between Ed and Lorraine and the girl specifically that this is happening to. They have a really good connection in the first one with the woman and the family, but I really liked the one in this one, and especially because he ends up giving her the cross, and I think everything that they talk about together is very awesome. Yeah, this movie has amazing scares. One of the scariest scenes, in my opinion, is the one where they're like in the basement. That scene is pretty terrifying. I can't make this review without talking about the beautiful score that plays throughout the entire movie. It is just fantastic, amazing, everything that I would want in a movie score, and this movie freaking has it. I love it so much. And I forgot to mention this, but Vera Farmiga's acting is just phenomenal the entire way through. I love her so much. She's honestly one of the best actresses working today in my opinion, and she delivers this role amazingly. And a scene that comes out to me in particular is towards the end where Ed and her are divided through this door that won't open, and that shot was just spectacular. And then she's like crying to him and telling him to wait, and you can really tell how much she loves him. And then the scene at the end where she's basically telling Valak to like leave is just phenomenal. I just think she's a great actress, and she also adds so much to this movie. And yeah guys, I absolutely adore everything about this movie, and I'm going to give this movie an A+. I love this one so much, and I'm so happy that I rewatched it and was able to review it for you guys. I genuinely think this is one of the best horror movies. It's a shame James Wan isn't directing the third, but hopefully it'll be good, or just as good as the first two that we've gotten so far. Thank you guys again so much for watching my channel, and I'll make sure to see you guys again tomorrow. And if you're new here, please make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. I always love hearing what you guys have to say, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys!